beautifuls, this is Aromie here, and welcome back to Mystic Destinies Serendipity of Aeons. We are here talking to Takumi, because we're wondering why he's here, because he's not magical. Sorry, Takumi. I managed to convince the administration to let me attend classes normally only supernatural students would attend. Professor K helped out a lot with that. I think back to how frustrated Hikaru looked yesterday. Hikaru seems like he wouldn't be the type to be pushed around easily. But why does Takumi want to sit in anyway? A thought strikes me then, as I remember that he randomly had a tranquilizer dart on him. Even though he's just human, Takumi may actually be kind of scary. We stop in front of the classroom I was headed to, and Takumi pushes open the door for me. I'm being allowed to sit in today while they get me all officially set up. Since we're both new, want to sit together? Even though low-key, he knows, like, childhood best friend here. Sure. I guess. Better than sitting with, like, strangers. I walk past him in the classroom and he follows me in. As we walk up the steps, I notice that there's a different view than the first time I was in Professor Kazama's class. Is that all done by magic? Will I be able to do something like that one day? I'd love to have the windows of my bedroom show me the ocean or a beautiful starry sky. Something bright orange catches my eye, breaking me out of my thoughts of magical windows. Windows. I don't know where my accent started to come in. I turn to see a certain someone waving enthusiastically at me. This is a beginner's class, right? So what is he doing here? Confused as I am, I decide not to ask for now. Hey guys, what's up? Hey man. Why are you here? Takumi sits next to Shou and gestures for me to stand the other side of him. Shou leans over to look at me. Shou... Oh, why did it double that? But okay. How are you feeling? Pretty good, thanks. I do not know where I'm landing in Shou's route because he has so many options. I nervously wait for Shou to mention what happened yesterday, but he never does. Professor Kazama walks in then, and after putting his things away, begins the lecture. I hope everyone's doing well. Today we're going to continue the subject of elemental magic. I open my laptop and prepare to take notes. Elemental magic is one form of magic that's powered and drawn from the elements of the earth itself. There have been cases of people with especially powerful auras utilizing elements outside of the earth. But since this is a remedial class, we won't be covering that. There are many element magic users can wield in a variety of different ways. Since we talked about hydrokinesis last week, today we'll be talking about its other forms. Cryokinesis, commonly referred to as ice. During the lecture, Hikaru goes over what cryokinesis is and some of the purposes it can be used for. Towards the end of the lecture, I could swear I can hear faint voices coming from outside the door. Ice can even be an effective weapon in battle, and one of the largest families of half-dragons has utilized it this way for centuries. Yukamura, Hirayama, would you come in? We all look toward the door that opens and in walk the two men, as they've just been waiting outside. Murmurs spread through the classroom. Hey Tatsuya. Oh, and Shinji! I really like how I eventually played out the game. It kind of like made sense along the way. Yukamura. So Tatsuya is an ice dragon. Shou leans over and glances at Takumi and I before whispering. I bet you anything those two have been arguing again. I hope this isn't too weird in your ears. I'm trying not to like almost whisper because I don't know how it's gonna sound. I don't know if it's gonna sound real creepy or not. I know, it's hilarious because you know, like, I don't even like when the whispers in this game whispered in my ear, so I don't want to make it uncomfortable for you guys and whisper in yours. I wonder what they're even here for though. Hikaru continues, ignoring our whispers. Oh, I should have continued whispering. Oops. Shinji and Tetsuya are from my advanced class, but they agreed to do a demonstration for us here today. Tetsuya? Tetsuya steps forward and grabs his left forearm near his elbow with his right hand. He closes his eyes for just a moment before running his hand over his arm. Oops. I hear a faint crackling sound from where I sit on the edge of my seat. I don't realize what he's done at first until I see the falling mist from his arms. arm, not arms. I quickly examine him and see Tetsuya's covered his left arm with sparkling ice. There's also a blade just far past his fist that looks razor sharp. I can't help it when a gasp escapes my mouth at the sight of the beautiful shimmering ice blade. This is one example for pyrokinesis applied for use in battle. Tetsuya has effectively covered his arm in an incredible hard ice to act both as armor and as a weapon. Before we move on to the next demonstration, does anyone have any questions? Still amazed at the sight before me, I raised my hand. Yes, Melody? From what I understand, this is the most peaceful period of time there's been so far. Why would a supernatural being need to learn to fight? There are whispers throughout the class following my question. Takumi starts whispering to me. Looks like you just outed yourself as being a complete newbie. What? How? It's true that monsters no longer freely roam the land, and supernaturals have opted to hide themselves as much as possible in today's world. But the fact is that there are still plenty of reasons to learn to use your powers to defend yourself. Yeah, girl! Even as a normal human, there's still, like, threats out there, like bad people. From barroom brawls to supernatural wars, supernaturals are still people. And people will always have disputes, as they always have. Hikaru sighs and suddenly looks very tired. Oh, my love. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. So that's why you're here. To help you gain mastery of your powers so you can defend yourself. I'm taken aback by Hikaru's speech. I sense I've struck a nerve, and I feel like an idiot for asking such an obvious question. I want to curl up and hide, and as dramatic as it sounds, I feel like I'm going to die of embarrassment. Good thing this isn't The Sims! But then I feel a warm hand on mine. Oh, Shou. I look up and see that Shou is reaching over to Kumi. Just like that, I don't quite feel like disappearing into the earth. Don't worry about it. Professor K's known for getting a little emotional sometimes. And he knows you don't know about this stuff. Thanks. Oh, Shou, you're such a sweetie. Can you guys maybe not do that kind of stuff right now? And pay attention to the lecture? We know he's I keep right-clicking instead of left-clicking. We know low-key he's kind of sad. Shinji is about to do something super cool. Sorry. We quickly drop each other's hands and I turn my attention back towards Shinji. Not Shou, sorry. So it's okay if I do a combat demonstration then. Of course, we'll be doing combat later here too. Just don't get carried away. I miss Shinji. He is beautiful. Perish the thought, Professor K. I'd never do anything dangerous to my buddy Tatsu. Shinji raises both his hands in front of his torso as if he were holding something that we couldn't see. I thought Tatsuya and Shinji didn't get along very well. I thought they butted heads a bit. I hear a different sort of crackling this time, and the air around Shinji's hand starts to shimmer and distort. I swear, Shinji, if you don't move. Suddenly, I see white flashes of something leap between Shinji's hands. Almost at the same time as I realize what I'm seeing, he pushes out both hands towards Tetsuya's ice-covered arm. The electricity arcs from his hands to the ice. Almost immediately, the ice begins to melt and turn into a white mist. Everyone in the classroom seems to gasp at once. Even Tetsuya is shook. Even Hikaru seems a little surprised, but he quickly turns to face the class with an awkward smile. Okay, so that was one way of disabling an opponent who uses ice, if you happen to be lucky enough to be an electrokinetic. I think that was a nice conclusion to our lecture, so we're done for the day. I feel a hand on my shoulder which snaps me out of my trance. I look up to see Shou standing next to me. Come on, I'll walk you home. Hey, what about me? Can I come? He's always the third wheel in every route, unless it's his. Shou looks at me questioningly, and I nod and grab my bag. I don't think Taku was in a lot of Shinji's route though, so I think that's okay. It's not far, and I'm feeling fine, but sure. Tetsuya and Shinji start to argue about something almost immediately, but as they argue, they leave the class together before we can catch up to them. In the hallway, all I hear are people talking about how all I hear people talking about was how cool the demonstrations were. Takumi beside me literally hasn't stopped talking since I told him he could come. He excitedly bounces along. Did you guys see that? I didn't even know Shinji could do that. It was so inventive too. I would have never thought to do that. Man, I wish I'd paid better attention in physics. I glance over at Shou, who has been quiet since the class ended. Oh, because he doesn't know how to use his powers all the way. I want to ask Shou what's wrong, but my eyes fall onto Takumi, who's skipping right in between us. I don't know that Shou would appreciate me asking in front of Takumi. I make a mental note to have a serious talk with Shou once we're alone. I think if I look hard enough, I can see actual stars in Takumi's eyes. Oh, damn it! But Tetsuya might come home in a bad mood because of that. But still, it was so cool. I wish I could do awesome stuff like you guys can. Ugh, I want to have magic powers. Yeah, they're pretty great when you're good with them. Shou mumbles, this under his breath while Takumi continues talking. But I heard him perfectly. I'm gonna go see if I can catch up with Shinji and Tetsuya so I can ask them more. Come on, Michiko! Before I can so much as open my mouth, Takumi grabs my hand and drags me off. I almost stumble with a quick tug, but manage to break into a run instead of falling flat on my face. I look back to see Shou running right after us, apparently keeping up pretty easily. In the end, we did catch up to Tetsuya and Shinji. Oh, this is a cute little spot. And Takumi somehow convinced everyone to hang out together. I get the feeling Takumi's the type that can talk his way out of anything. That's his power. So with that settled, Shinji offered to take us to a little park just outside of the campus. Apparently, Takumi had so many questions that he didn't want to wait to get the answers. Even though I didn't say out loud, I'm definitely curious to find out more about, well, everything. So I didn't mind getting dragged along to hang out. After a quick trip to the restroom, I plopped down on the bench next to Shou. We sit close together, listening to Takumi shoot off rapid-fire questions. So, Shinji, are you a lightning mage or what? I can handle all of the elements to varying degrees. Wow, that's amazing. So you're probably the most powerful one here, right? I glance over at Shou, who's sitting next to me. I don't know him well enough to say he's not acting like himself, but I feel like he's been unusually quiet. Yeah, right! You want to see power? Then let's have a proper demonstration. Ice versus ice. No thanks, I'm not stupid. He turns to Takumi, ignoring Tetsuya's smug. Will beat someone who can use more than one. You catching this, Michiko? I snap out of staring at Shou. What? Yes, totally! Mastery of one element is better. Being able to use more than one element is better. There are advantages and disadvantages in both ways. It's totally the last one. It seems like there will be advantages and disadvantages to both ways of fighting. Mastery might give you more power, but it lacks in flexibility. And being able to use several elements may give you flexibility, but without mastery, it will lack the finesse and sheer power that you can gain through years of dedicated training. So I think it's best to choose what suits you and your personality the most. Though, with either way, there's a trail off in my eyes drift to Shou. And years of practice. Yeah, you got it. I notice that Tetsuya and Shinji have become strangely silent. I glance at Takumi, surprised he stopped talking for more than a moment. Okay, clearly there's something no one is talking about here, and it has to do with Shou's powers. Unable to bear the stretching silence much longer, I reach for my bag to distract myself with my phone. But it's not there. I look down under the bench from left to right. Didn't I bring it? I know I had it when I left class. The guys immediately pick up on my distress. What's up, Michiko? Are you looking for something? I nod and get up from the bench, looking all around it as I speak. I'm just looking for my bag. I'm absolutely sure I brought it with me from Professor Kozama's class. I remember you having it too, because you checked your phone as soon as you walked outside. Takumi's more observant than I gave him credit for. I thought he's too busy talking to pay attention to anything. I make a mental note to revise my growing assumption that he was kind of an airhead. But you probably put it down for a moment, didn't you? For like, oh, right, I'm Park's restroom. And never left it, the sink. I cautiously look around the bathroom before walking up to the sink and grabbing it. When I walk walk back outside, Shou's waiting near the bathroom's entrance for me. Oh, good, you found it. Losing your stuff would have been a pain for sure. Takumi and the others walk up to us. Have you checked the bag? Huh? Oh, no, but that's a good idea. I rummaged through the bag, checking that my laptop, notebooks, and wallet are inside. Everything appears to be there, but everything's been all mixed up. Even though nothing's missing, someone's definitely gone through my bag. But why would someone go through your things? Do you have any enemies, Michiko? Why would I leave my bag in the sink? At the sink? Even she said that was weird. What? No, why would I? But when I think through the reasons I could be targeted, only one comes to mind. I am Michiko Shinomura, daughter of Shinomura Industries CEO. I don't pretend to know everything my father does, but he's bound to have some people who will want to use me to get at him. I can't tell these guys that though, nor can I get them involved in anything dangerous because of who I am. Michiko, are you absolutely sure? Anything could help. This whole thing might not be nothing, but no, I can't think of any reason why anyone would target me. Honestly, it could have been just a thief that got scared off by someone coming in or something. Yeah, that's probably it. There's no need to scare me, Chico, with your theories, Takumi. A Cam's razor, huh? A Cam's or Cam? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. In plainer words, the most simple solution is the most likely. There's probably nothing to worry about, Michiko. Takumi doesn't look convinced in the least, and I turn around so I don't have to face him. Shou peeks around at me though, his face right in front of mine. Come on, why don't I walk you home? Alright, thanks. Shou's such a lifesaver. We'll see you guys later. Or we'll see you later, guys. We wave goodbye and go our separate ways, though Takumi's enthusiasm was noticeably curbed. I glance at Shou beside me. Did he somehow sense how uncomfortable I was? He did get me out of there pretty quick. Could he know I'm hiding something? But Shou looks at me with a smile so bright that I reflexively smiled back. He seems content to walk in silence too. That's right, Shou's hiding something too. I guess even people like him have their demons. Chapter 3, Resolve. I forgot how many chapters are in this route. 12 or 11 or such. Another day, another class. It's been a week since that day in the park. I haven't really had a chance to talk with Shou at length, aside from sending the occasional silly text to each other. But the more I think about it, the more I wonder why he was in that newbie practical magic class. Probably to, like, relearn it, so then he can also teach me. And also because he's rusty. At first I thought he was just sitting in with Takumi or there to watch a demonstration. Or maybe even to be there for me since it was my first class. But after seeing how he reacted afterward, could it be that something's wrong with him? Wait, no, that sounds bad. But still, if it's true, why would Professor Kozama let me choose him out of everyone else to help me? It just didn't make any sense. I felt like I was missing some big piece of puzzle, and clearly it wasn't something Shou wanted to talk about. I make my way into the control and focus classroom for the second time. There are only a few students inside. Most of them are in little groups, happily chatting away as they wait for the professor to show up. I look around for a place to sit, and my eyes fall onto a familiar face. Shou is sitting there alone, practically at the other end of the classroom, far away from everyone else. He's reading something on his phone with his back almost turned from the door, so he hasn't seen me enter yet. He wasn't here last week. What changed? And why is he all the way in the corner? Shou definitely isn't the shy type, so it doesn't make much sense to me. What if he's here for me though? We are partners after all. But then why wouldn't he tell me he would be here? I'm torn between going to greet him and sitting somewhere else. What if he wants to be left alone? As I finally move to find a seat, Shou looks up. Michiko? Oh, is he blushing? For a moment, Shou seems lost at seeing me here. Okay, he's definitely not here for me then. Like a switch, he suddenly grins at me, waving me over like a madman? Yeah. Hey, Michiko, sit next to me. His enthusiasm is catchy. Oh, it's cute. I offer no objections and sit in the seat beside him. I want to ask him many questions, but the classroom door opens with a bang. The professor strides in, his messy brown hair practically bouncing as he moves. I hear some of the girls next to me start to whisper, and I gather that Professor Arden is quite popular around campus. I decided to shove my questions to the back of my mind and pull my laptop out. I can ask Shou about it later anyway. I put all my focus on the lesson ahead. Righto, kiddos, time to learn. Today we'll be talking about how to focus your magic so you don't accidentally blow something up. Oh, that's great, man, because I blow things up all the time, apparently, around here. But anyway, this is where we're going to stop for today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.